Did you know one of the most historical movies ever made is basically a beautifully filmed lie? I know. Braveheart feels epic. The music hits you, the speeches have the emotional range of a national anthem, and the blue paint. Well, that was certainly a creative decision. But if your history teacher ever played Braveheart in class and said, "This is accurate," then what I'm about to show you might hurt your feelings a little bit. Because today, we're pulling back the cinematic curtain. Not to insult the movie, it's genuinely iconic, but to show how it quietly turned real Scottish history into something closer to medieval fan fiction. By the end of this video, you'll know what actually happened, why the movie rewrote entire decades of real events, and you'll get to decide whether Hollywood was being clever or just reckless with the truth. All right, intro card in, dramatic smoke effect if you have one. Let's do this. Welcome to Fake History Files, the series where we roast the most entertaining lies you were taught about history. Movies, textbooks, teachers, memes, nobody is safe here. I'm Jem, and this is episode 1. If you like learning in a way that doesn't feel like homework, jokes, drama, zero boring lectures, this is your place. Today we're starting with a classic, Braveheart. Quick warning though, if it's your comfort movie, relax. We're not canceling it. We're just separating cinema from history so your brain stops accidentally using a Hollywood script as a history book. Let's begin with the version everyone remembers, the Braveheart cinematic universe. In the movie, William Wallace is basically a medieval superhero who spawned from a tragic origin story. He grows up as a poor Scottish farm boy, living in a country constantly bullied by the English, who are portrayed with the subtlety of cartoon villains. He falls in love, secretly marries, and then, boom, tragedy. His wife is killed, and Wallace instantly turns into the angriest man Scotland has ever produced. One personal heartbreak suddenly becomes the spark for a full national rebellion. He shows up to battle wearing blue paint, a kilt, absolutely zero helmet, and an unlimited supply of slow-motion shots. His speeches feel like they were written by someone who wanted to win an Oscar and a TED Talk award at the same time. And the English lose half the battles because they underestimate the sheer amount of main character energy this one guy carries. By the end, Wallace isn't just a rebel. He becomes the pure symbol of Scottish independence, dying in the most dramatic, slow-motion, chest-thumping way possible. The message is simple. One man, one love story, one nation transformed forever. It's powerful. It's emotional. And it's about as accurate as calling a Marvel movie a documentary. A couple of quick punchlines, because I know you're already thinking it. His armor budget? 0. His hair budget? Unlimited. And the Scottish army? They look like they ordered historical accuracy from the wrong website. All right, let's turn off the dramatic soundtrack and talk about what historians actually know. First thing, William Wallace was real. The movie didn't invent him. But he probably wasn't a sad, random peasant with nothing but a heart of gold and a massive sword. Evidence suggests he came from a minor noble family, not royalty, not a poor villager. Think, land, connections, and enough education to understand politics. Now let's talk about Scotland at the time. It wasn't a peaceful kingdom suddenly attacked by an evil mustache-twirling English king. The real situation was a political mess. The Scottish king died without a clear heir. Multiple powerful nobles started fighting over who should rule next, and England, seeing this giant opportunity, decided to step in, mediate, and eventually control the situation. This created tension, resentment, and years of frustration long before Wallace even joined the fight. So when the movie makes it seem like one guy's love story single-handedly triggered a national rebellion, yeah, that's emotional, but it's not how history works. Rebellions don't rise out of one personal tragedy. They rise out of years of anger, bad leadership, unfair taxes, and people finally saying, enough. Quick reality check. Would you watch a movie about political alliances, legal claims to the throne, tax disputes, and shifting noble loyalties? Exactly, neither would Hollywood. And that's why Braveheart simplified the entire situation into one clean, emotional plot. Time to break the movie into pieces, myth by myth. Myth 1, the kilt and blue face paint. Let's talk fashion because Braveheart absolutely went wild. In the movie, Scottish warriors charge into battle wearing kilts, bare legs flying, faces painted blue like they're preparing for a very intense football match. Problem? Kilts? They became common hundreds of years later. Blue war paint? That belonged to ancient Celtic tribes long before Wallace was born. It's like giving a World War II soldier a hoodie and AirPods and calling it stylish accuracy. Wallace and his men would have worn armor similar to other European fighters of the time, not fantasy cosplay that looks like a Renaissance fair on steroids. Honest question. If the movie had accurate armor instead of cool blue face paint, would you still have watched it 20 times? Exactly. Myth 2, the romantic princess story. Ah, yes, the royal romance. Because what's a Hollywood epic without at least one dramatic kiss scene? The movie gives Wallace a high-status love interest. Emotional? Yes. Historically possible? Not even close. The real person the character was based on either wasn't old enough or wasn't anywhere near Wallace's life in that way. Hollywood basically opened the history book, shrugged, and said, "What if we added a princess for emotional flavor?" Myth 3. Wallace is the one and only leader. Braveheart turns Wallace into the unstoppable leader of the entire Scottish resistance. But real life? He was one important figure among several. There were other nobles, military leaders, political players, and factions involved before, during, and after him. Turning him into a one-man army makes for cleaner storytelling. But it erases the fact that rebellions are group projects, messy, political, and full of arguments. Let me ask you something. Do you prefer one clear hero in a story, or do you enjoy the chaotic, messy cast of real people behind big events? Because depending on your answer, that might decide which historical lie we destroy next. Why did Hollywood change so much? All right, let's be fair to the filmmakers. Why did they rewrite so much? First, emotion beats accuracy. A simple revenge story hits harder than a complicated power struggle. Audiences want to feel something, not memorize dates. Second, clear heroes and villains sell better. Real history is full of gray areas, but movies love black and white. Braveheart gives you good Scots versus evil English. Neat, clean, satisfying. Third, national myths are powerful. A big, inspiring freedom story sells tickets, boosts pride, and sticks in people's heads. Technically, there were multiple factions and shifting alliances, does not. There's nothing wrong with changing details, as long as everyone understands it's a movie first, history lesson second. The only problem? When people watch it, never read anything else, and then confidently argue about facts that were written in a script meeting. So here's where I want your take. Are you okay with movies rewriting history as long as the story hits emotionally? Or do you feel a little cheated when you find out the true story you loved was mostly invented? Drop your answer into the comments. Team entertainment. As long as the movie is good, accuracy is optional. Team accuracy. Historical lies drive you crazy. Team both. You love the film, but still want to know the truth. I'm somewhere between team both and team mildly annoyed. I love an epic speech, but I also like knowing when I'm being lied to, even if the lie has beautiful lighting. Extra twists the movie never told you. Before we wrap, here are a few extra twists Braveheart didn't bother mentioning. First, the timeline. The movie makes everything feel like a smooth, dramatic chain of events. Reality was messy. Years of battles, pauses, negotiations, shifting alliances, backstabbing nobles, and political drama that wouldn't fit into a 2-hour script. Second, the one speech changes everything trope. Movies love this, real history doesn't. Nations don't rise because someone yelled an inspiring line. They rise through dozens of small victories, brutal losses, economic pressure, and long-term political decisions. Third, ordinary people weren't a unified army of cheerleaders. Some supported Wallace. Some didn't. Some were scared. Some just wanted their farms not burned down. Braveheart simplifies all of that into one instantly inspired crowd. But real life is always more complicated and less cinematic. Imagine pitching the real version to a movie studio. So basically, it's about land rights, dynastic claims, international diplomacy, shifting loyalties, and economic pressure. Not exactly the stuff that sells popcorn. Let's rewind the whole thing in 30 seconds. Braveheart gave us an emotional, unforgettable story, but it dressed the past in the wrong clothes. added a romance that never happened, turned one important leader into the only hero, and squeezed an entire era of Scottish politics into a neat revenge plot. The real William Wallace was still brave, still important, still part of a national struggle, just not the blue-painted superhero the movie created. So if you thought you knew the true story because you watched the film, well, now you know you were watching epic fiction with historical seasoning, not a documentary. If this is the first Fake History Files video you've stumbled onto, you're technically joining the middle of the lie. The whole series is designed to be watched in order. So when you're done here, go to the playlist and start with episode 1. You'll see how the series begins, catch all the earlier twists, and watch fake history crumble piece by piece. Don't worry, it's not homework. It's just history finally admitting it has a sense of humor. On-screen text. Start with episode 1 in the playlist. Next time, we're going after another gigantic historical myth you've definitely seen in movies, video games, and Halloween costumes, Viking horned helmets. Spoiler: those horns did more work in pop culture than they ever did in real life. So if you want to see where that lie started and how deep it goes, make sure you're here for episode 2. Hit like if Braveheart just dropped a few points in your historically accurate ranking. Subscribe if you want more entertaining but slightly painful truth about the past. And comment below which movie or myth you want me to destroy next. Team entertainment, team accuracy, or team both. Whichever you choose, you're officially part of this series now. This was Gem, and you've just watched history get fact-checked. See you in the next fake story everybody somehow believes.